morning, race fans. Well, it's morning for me still. It's probably afternoon for some others of you. Saw someone say about talking about getting a beer. Yeah, it's 9:55 a.m., almost 10 a.m. here in Central USA. It is September 1st, 2023, and this is pre-practice two for the Italian Grand Prix in the Temple of Monza. Hi, this is Grash. I am back, and this is the Races YouTube channel. If you look on screen, my streak has been broken. My high score is right now six sessions. Yeah, we'll see how this goes today. The biggest thing that came out of the first practice is teams were doing a lot of testing. Like the top three: Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, and Sainz. That's the top four. Basically, they were all on hard tires for most of the session. Long runs on those hard tires. Moving on. Alfa Romeo had a horrible session. They were out, but they had issues with their clutch. They had issues with this. It was both cars. So. Terry one is asking, why is the screen so blurry? Check if you're not streaming at. There's ways you can set how the resolution of what you're streaming, YouTube streaming at. Make sure that you're not set something low by accident. Also, your bit rate could screw things up as well. So there's just common things that are going on. F1 TV just started their stream. They're going over the track. It's 5.7 kilometers, which is 3.6 miles. There's 11 turns with an elevation about, I think that's like 12 meters or so. I think that was what it is. But there's a little bit of elevation on this track. The tires that we're using is basically the soft is the C5, C4 is the mediums, and C3 is the hards. These are the softest three compounds. So. And it corresponds to the fact that Monza is the fastest track, one of the fastest track, if not the fastest track that we'll be on. So we're on the softest compounds as it is. No, Lawson's okay. It's not the car is bad. Let's put it this way. But having said that, he did set P13. What am I making crash? Dude! Look! My counter got reset. How are we gonna? I'm not irking the gods today. I think I put a lot of mental power into when I was asleep last week. I put a lot of power into making things happen. Apparently, no. What are my expectations of the past this season? I have no expectations for the past. He's talking American football. Yeah, no, I don't know what to tell you about. I have no expectations for the Pats. I just expect Mac to be better now that we have O'Brien. Anyways, we're not here to talk at American football in NFL. We're here for F1, so we'll leave that another. If you've not liked or subscribed, now's a great time to do so. Basically, if you've subscribed, you can hit the bell and get notifications when we go live. We go live for all practice sessions. On sprint weekends, we do the sprint quali and the shootout and the sprint race itself, and of course we do a watch along for the race itself. That's how I found this channel, to be quite honest, because I was like, oh, I was watching. I don't like that. I was watching Super GT, and then from Super GT jumped to Team Mark. Team Mark was doing F1 racing, and then I was like, oh, there might be a actual race right on, and I found this channel, and that's 2 years, almost 2 years, 2 years later now. I'm here as your commentator. No, Quetch. Messi does not play American football. He plays what we call soccer, which is which you refer to as the beautiful game. No, American football is more like rugby, and we set up 11 guys and we go heads on each other and play by play. Not the same game. Let's see where we're going right now. We're about to begin. Who's going out on track right away? Yeah, that's what Carmelo's got it right. Messi plays football in America, not American football. That's a very good distinction there, and a very important distinction. Oh, look, the Alfa Romeos are going out early. We are green, so that is both. So Stroll, Bottas, and Joe are going out. Lando looks like he's rocking. He's ready to go. Itching to get out. Armored rugby. That's another way to put it. Smart move. I think both the Alphas need some good time out there. Yeah, after last session, they really. So the weekend allocations, they have 3 hard sets, 4 medium sets, and 4 soft sets. And I believe they have to use. I think the allocation for quali is part of that allocation as well. So that's so they've got 11 set of tires as opposed to 13. And the purpose of doing this is that is basically it's a environmental, it's a cost saving and an environmental saving because they're using less tires, and that's the point behind doing this. The Rossi are up on chat clapping for Charles as he goes around. Is Sainz out as well? Yes, he is. So the Ferraris are out. What happened in FP1? Not a lot, Manair. No red flag. No one made a mistake. The biggest thing is basically teams did runs on a particular tire. I think only one team had used 2 different tire compounds, and then pretty much the Alfa Romeos basically had technical issues that didn't get them out for very. They were in the garage way too long. Yeah, I will be here. I'll be here tomorrow morning for FP3, and then quali and the race will be done by Ryan himself. Uh, Danny is out for how long? That is going to be about, let's say, 3 to 4 weeks minimum. So we're looking. Qatar is like the earliest he possibly could return, but it's more looking like, and Japan is probably a little early too. Singapore is more likely, but he'll be definitely back by the Austin Grand Prix, the American Grand Prix, which is at Austin, which is Coda. Lance Stroll is on the grass. What's going on? Is he stuck? Is he stuck? There we go. There we go. Red flag. Stroll, where are you? We need you in FP1. Four minutes in, we get a red flag. I what I what did Stroll do? He lost power, lost electrical. He couldn't. He was trying to downshift, wouldn't downshift. He was stuck in 8th gear, and until he pulled off. So Max is running a different wing than he was in F1. Basically, there's a cut in the wing that Perez has it, but Max didn't have it. So, yeah, no, Nigel, it is a red flag. It is a red flag. We need to update the counter. We need to update the counter. What happened? Stroll went out, and he had an electrical issue, and it basically he couldn't downshift down from eighth gear, and so he stopped on the side of the track. He didn't crash. He didn't crash. He's just stopped on the track, and so in a practice, this brings out a red flag. Uh, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, everyone. Welcome to free practice 2. We have a red flag already because Stroll. What's up, Leclerc? Nothing was up with Leclerc because Stroll decided to stop the whole section. Oh, Stroll's in the car still. Are they trying to get him out? So yeah, no. So the marshals went over to the car. Lance is still in. He's like, I want to get this thing going. I want to get this going. They've told him to get out of the car. He won't get out of the car. And finally, over the radio, his team has to tell him he's got to jump out of the car. Is he still in it though? He's still in the car. I think he's still in the car as they push it back. Yeah, the session will be over for Lance because yeah, unless they can get the car back really quickly, and that's oh yeah. Of course, he's throwing a chance. He's trying to get the car back to the pits so he potentially have it sometime in free practice too. Um, he will probably get pulled in by the marshals because he didn't follow instructions. Whoa! What happened in F3? I did not hear what happened in F3. Controversy in F3 and then chaos again at F2. What happened? Yeah, dude, you're gonna have to tell us more. What happened? Wasn't looking at F3 F2 this morning. Get out of the car. Still in the car. And we will resume in about a minute or so now that Stroll's off the track. I'm wondering if Stroll's going to get pulled into the stewards for not getting out of the car when told to. Yeah, literally looks like an F2 when they all come out for F2. F1 looks like that at the moment with everyone coming on track, coming out the lineup on track. So what happened basically? Lance went out on. Can he suspend him? No, they won't suspend him. They will either he'll get fined or he'll get penalty point, um, or a stern talking to about safety. So I don't think anything in terms of like a penalty, like I guess a great place. I don't think that would happen. More, this would be more safety issue. It's more of a stern. It'd be a more stern talking to. He broke down. He broke down, pulled off to the side of the onto the grass, and then the marshals came in and he wouldn't get out of the car. You're thinking of Lance Armstrong? That is, yeah, dude. What? I don't know what you're doing right now. About you're just stirring the pot, my friend. Please stop. Yeah, because everyone's out on track because ultimately, um, they just threw away like 8 minutes of practice because of Lance. Electrical problem, Master Killer, Lukey. Venti, red flag, pizza in the oven. I wish that was the case. I would have a lot of pizza from red flags. So looking at times right now. So the only ones not on track, obviously Lance, because for obvious reasons, but Piastri and Alonso are not on track right now. Everyone's doing their outlap. So it will be about a minute or so before we start seeing a table populated with proper times. People are just doing their. Some people are coming out for the first time. Some were starting a proper lap, and then Lance decided to throw it all away. It's more a guarded kind of dude. That's rough, man. Double ask any noteworthy F1. Just basically that the Alpha Romeos had both cars had issues. Caught it before they left the pit lane. Otherwise, I would have had a red flag. Darn. Unlike in here in FP2 that wasn't caught and Lance went out and caused a red flag. Verstappen's on medium, Sainz is on medium, Sarch is on a soft, Albon's on a soft. So interesting. Max fastest sector 3 with 122.59, but Albon fastest sector 2 is a tenth off in sector 2. He is a tenth off in sector 3, so he's at a 122.3. So he's with a half a tenth within Verstappen. Perez jumps to a P2 with faster sector 2, 122.35. Then we've got the Ferraris in P4, P5, Leclerc, Sainz, then Russell, Hamilton, P6, P7. Where is Sargent? Sargent is P8 with 123.54. No, again, in chat, Quest is asking, was it the same Italian Grand Prix that got canceled due to the flood? No, Imola was canceled because of flood. Yeah, that's to be expected with the tire data collection. Again, they do have to use each of the compounds in quali. So a lot of teams, we saw several teams do hard running for most of the session. Plugging in. Yeah, we had a couple people stirring the pot in FP1 about historical things, and it got to the point where they were just stirring the pot. Jose probably could be sleeping. I mean, was really early. Um, ooh, ooh, what? Piastri just took evasive action. It was Russell. He took a curb strike in turn one that felt harder than he expected. So we got wacky stuff going on. Yeah, Piastri came up on Hamilton. I believe it looks around the little chicane. It's either in sector one or sector two, one of the S curves, and Hamilton was in the way. See if there's any. So Sargent is back into the pits. We'll see what's going on with that. Maybe adjustment to the car. We'll see if there was anything in terms of impeding with Hamilton. But nothing noted as of yet. Max moves to a 122.224, but Albon is right there, 0.005 behind him. Faster sector 2, so improved in sector 2, improved in sector 3, slightly slower in sector 1. So that's interesting. Max is faster than Albon on a medium tire still. Perez is 3, Clerk Sainz 4, 5, Russell Hamilton 7, Sargent 8. So we've got 4 teams dominating. So we've got Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Williams dominating the top 8 right now. Albon much faster. Norris just jumped into that group, so we're now got one of them. McLaren's in the top. Alonso now in P8. So 2 more teams in that top 10 now. Noted is P12, and someone noticed that his teammate Lawson is only, was it only 2/10? No, about 3, 2 and a quarter, maybe 2.25 away from Yuki. It's not that big of a jump. Ferrari's better than Mercedes. Well, they should be. This is their home track. I mean, they test and build for this track, really. So they should be better than at least Mercedes. So we've got now Sainz and Leclerc going P1, P2. Sainz with a 121.565 and Leclerc doing 121.835. So this is Then they did both of these on medium tires. So 0.273 back from Sainz to Leclerc. Sorry, Leclerc is back 2.73, I should say. Verstappen is in the pits. Tsunoda jumps up to P8 with a 123.006. Hamilton's on an outlap after being in the pits. Yeah, this is starting to look like Ferrari and Red Bull. This is the medium session. Albon was on softs. He is back in the pits right now. Perez just up to P3 with a 122.178. So the only team that's pierced the 121s right now is Ferrari. 5 are in the 122s, a couple rests, 123s until we get to Zhou and again. Obviously sold it instead of time. So the danger for Stroll is if something were to happen to his car tomorrow in FP3, he would be in a scenario where he would have to set a time in qualification. And I forget I think it's like 110 or 1. There's a certain percentage that he has to meet in order with a qualifying time in order for it to take, basically. Otherwise, he would not be allowed to actually race on Sunday. So tomorrow becomes extremely important for Stroll, and yeah, they're showing. Yeah, those tires are full of grass. That's great. So one of the things that is going on with historical wise, if let's say, so if Checo, so there's two different records that could be set tomorrow. There is there is the most number of wins by a constructor can be outright set if Checo or Max takes that, and if Max wins, obviously the outright number of consecutive wins will be set, and there won't be any. And the problem is that with these historical data, like when we look at, obviously, like Vettel has 9, but we can go back further, and there's another driver who across 2 seasons can say also won 9 in a row. What throws those discussions in part of it is that back, and particularly with the constructor record, is that they're counting Grand Prix wins, so they don't. So back, like in the, I believe, 50s, 60s, 70s, to a certain point, there was a point where the Indianapolis 500 was part of the calendar. It was a point granting race, but it's not a Grand Prix race. So we're talking about the Indy Oval. And so there's teams that can say we are consecutive Grand Prix winners without the Indianapolis 500 being part of one of those wins. So yeah, things get ugly. So with a Max win, both of those records are straight up set, and there's no discussion. There's no more discussion about who has won. It'll always be a discussion of who's second. Checo, obviously, then the driver record still becomes, it stays where it is. Max at 9, Vettel at 9, another driver who can claim 9. With Max winning, that moves it to 10. And now we're in, with clear air with who is number 1. We don't have to have a discussion anymore about do we count this or don't count that. So Max has a great chance of getting the Triple Crown. What is the Triple Crown? What are we talking about here? What are the three things that we're talking about the Triple Crown? Yeah, but that's a different. Okay, I think what Carmel is talking about is Triple Crown of Motorsports, which is um, Monaco, the Indianapolis Grand Prix, and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I don't think Max. Yeah, I don't think Max is going to do the Triple Crown. I don't. Yeah, I don't think he's going to do the Triple Crown of. I don't think he's going to go to the United States to do IndyCar. He might do Le Mans, but I don't see. There's multiple Triple Crowns. So there's a Triple Crown for horse racing, but there's a Triple Crown for motorsports. And Graham Hill is the only one who's won Monaco, the Indianapolis 500, and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Those are the three races that comprise of the Triple Crown in motorsports. So right now we're looking at either, I think, it feels like we're going slow. So Sargent is out, Mercedes out, Piastri's out on track right now. See if they're doing long runs, but everyone else is back in doing adjustments. Yeah, Max is likely to do the interesting. He's likely to do. It's like likely. He's likely to do and do the 24 Hours of Le Mans. But I don't see Max coming to the United States to do IndyCar. Unless yeah, I don't see him coming to IndyCar anytime soon. Um, we'll talk maybe. I mean, he's still young, but ultimately, you guys are talking about how to find the stream. I know it's probably have gone unlisted. One of the ways that you can find the stream is first basically click the bell. You'll get a notification when we go live. The other way you can do is that you can go to Discord, and I'm gonna drop that link into chat. I can get it again. Yeah, so if you go to Discord, if you join our Discord community, it is announced that there's an event made for each session, and the link for it will always be there. So if you wake up late and you can't find it, you'll always be able to find this on. You'll always be able to find this. Through Discord. You'll always, if you get a notification, you'll get information about it. Yeah, he is Jack. I know Jack. Several people have been close. Alonso has been close. He's won. Alonso. The problem is Alonso. He's won Le Mans. He's won Monaco. Um, he's tried three times to. He's tried three times to enter the. I'm not going to tell you. So he's tried to qualify three times for the Indianapolis 500. He was bumped. Basically, he didn't qualify. So you need to be three. There's 33 drivers in the Indianapolis 500. He did not qualify and be the top one of those 33 drivers, which means we call that being bumped from the field. And that was his second attempt and he was doing it with McLaren, and they didn't know what they were doing at the time. They were not good at all. Very different now. They're actually a decent team. No, Griff. 24 hours is actually not the hardest to get. It's the Indianapolis 500 is the hardest to get. I would say it's either you have to Monaco and the Indianapolis 500 are harder to get because it's a single driver scenario. The 24 hours Le Mans is you're working in a team with multiple drivers, and the reliability of cars have, 24 hours was probably that case 30, 40, 50 years ago. But today, it's Monaco in the 500 are both harder. I would put Monaco edging out the 500 only because you have to be an F1 driver, you have to be in an F1 team, and uh, no, 500 is not an endurance race. It's not an endurance race. Not doesn't mean when we say endurance race, there's a specific meaning, and there's a specific technical meaning to that term. So it's not. Daytona is not. It's not part of the Moto Crown. Don't get me wrong. Daytona is after these three. Daytona is one of the most important. Is NASCAR's most important race, but it's not considered part of the Triple Crown. And it's one of those. If someone were to have Daytona and not have, let's say, like Le Mans, or not have Monaco, but have the other two, would that be a Triple Crown? And that's one of those, not a discussion for today. So we are seeing right now, where are we on the board, basically? We're halfway through the session. Sainz and Leclerc are 1-2, Alonso is 3, Perez and Verstappen, P4, P5, Albon P6, Russell P7, Sargent P8, Hamilton P9, Norris P10. Tsunoda P11, Lawson has moved up to P12, Piastri is P13, Gasly, Ocon P14, 15, Magnussen P16, Bottas, Zoe 17, 18, Hulkenberg 19, and Stroll is in 20th because he brought out a red flag, which is reflected by the number 1 on my counter for this session. Adabo, basically, I know you can see Max going, but Max won't go to IndyCar for like at least, like we're talking like 8, like to a decade out. Like when he's done with F1 and he's won Le Mans. When did my red streak ended? It ended in FP1 because no one decided to do anything bad. And the moment that we got Stroll back, he stopped on grass in the first 4 minutes. Go figure. Stroll was not in FP1 because he was replaced by Drogovic for free driver testing. The regulations host me. But we're talking like Max might do the Indianapolis 500, but it would be like 10 years from now. And given that he's with the streaks he's setting here, with the championships, Max to come over. So people from F1 regularly come over. Like Ericsson, the one of the last year's Indianapolis winner was in F1. The two people who have made the most buzz, who's come from F1 to IndyCar, for the most recent would be Grosjean, who's done horribly this season. He's driven well. So Perez has jumped to P1 with a 121.540, so a tenth and a half faster than Sainz. But the one person who did where the buzz was just so insane was Nigel Mansell. He had won the F1 championship, and then took his ball and came to IndyCar. And so the year that I think it was 90, I want to say 92, but the year he came to IndyCar, the year he came to the Indianapolis 500 for the first time as a rookie, was a big freaking deal. It was a huge, and Mansell almost, Sainz going off track. He had a rear locking into turn 4. So missed the chicane and curb. Mansell took control of that race and only lost that race because he had a bad restart at the very end, where he was basically Fittipaldi and Ari Landijk basically did a 1-2 around him on the restart, and he ended up third. I saw that live too. It was crazy. It was this rookie Indianapolis 500s. It's definitely a race to go back and watch and to see what happened. Yeah, it was 90. He was there for, I think if it was, he was there for 2 years, 93, 94. So we're talking about his um, first year in IndyCar. Again, his first attempt at the Indianapolis 500. For a rookie, that's like crazy insane. Not just be third, but leading the race for the majority of the race in that way. Again, he was when he was racing at that time. He was the reigning F1 champion. If anyone was interested, he done the 500. That's a maybe. We don't know because he got injured. I don't know if Schumacher ever did the Le Mans. So again, he's injured, so we don't know. We can't. He possibly could have. I mean, that would have been that would have been a big big deal if he had come over and tried the 500. Well, Davina, the other thing about Mansell is that he was a massive a-hole as well, because he stayed out his stay in the United States pretty quickly, and then took his ball and came back to. He thought it was too unsafe. Yeah, in Indy is very dangerous. In different. I mean, don't get me wrong. He has Indy is in the time that Schumacher's talking. IndyCar was relatively just as dangerous as F1. Passey's gone sector 2. Norris has gone to P1 with 121.374. Let's see where Alonso's not improving on his time. Oscar jumps in at P3 with 121.543. So he's only 0.005 slower than Perez. And Norris is about a tenth and a half faster than him. Indy's usually not dangerous to the crowd. Was it last year or was it this? In the past 2 years, there was an incident where someone crashed and a tire did fly off the car, which is in the modern era of IndyCar, that is highly unusual. Sainz has gone P1 with a 121.355, so he is about 0.02 faster than Norris. So we're 1/5 of a tenth faster than Norris, which is we're now splicing hairs at this point. Science 0.3. So the top 4 are within 0.2. Verstappen is in 0.3. Leclerc is 4/10 off, and then Albon is 0.6, almost a half a second, a little more than half a second. So. Yeah, no one was injured. They did say no one was injured. The tire bounced off, went over the fence, and went into a parking lot and came down on someone's car, smashed the windshield of someone's car and lodged into it. So that's pretty much we got lucky. Yeah, well, with one of the things that has happened with IndyCar is that in the mid '90s, and this is why Schumacher looked at it as dangerous. That don't think they had to replace the entire car. I think they just had to replace the windshield. It was fixable, but ultimately in the mid '90s, basically, the track record at Indianapolis is still standing from the mid '90s, and that's set by Ari Leyendijk. And we are reaching up into new track records and reaching towards that record that Ari, like we're now getting back up into those speeds. And so Ari Leyendijk, it's just a matter of time before that his record basically drops. Last weekend at Zandvoort, the last banking curve is actually named after the Flying Dutchman, the Ari Leyendijk. Yeah, he in the United States. He is a huge legend in the United States because he current for now we're going on 50 years now. I'm sorry, 30 years now, where he is the track, the flat out fastest man at Indianapolis, and it's been there for 30 years. And again, what happened is shortly after he said that, safety concerns came into the sport, and the cars were slowed down for safety reasons. They did things to slow the car down for safety reasons and improve safety. But now that we've now gone, so we introduced, F1 introduced the halo. We have essentially the windshield and the tub. Basically, in IndyCar, we have the cockpit is basically, they refer to it as a one-piece unit. They would refer to it as the tub. So when that gets destroyed, that's a major part of the chassis now. And so when you destroy the chassis, we cut in a major way. We talk about tubbing the car over an IndyCar. So yeah, no. I can understand Schumacher being worried about the race speeds and the danger, because it was speed and danger were a major element. But don't get me wrong, F1 had the same. F1 was no better in their own way. So we've got Perez on an outlap, Leclerc on track, Bottas, Sargent, Hamilton, Gasly, and Zhou on an outlap. We're following Bottas across, and they've got an Italian style livery for Monza this weekend. This is again to honor their brand. The Alpha. So Alfa Romeo is leaving the team that they are on right now. So Alfa Romeo is the title sponsor, the name sponsor of the Sauber team. After this year, Alfa Romeo is leaving the Sauber team, and they're going to be sponsoring the Haas team. And so the Haas team is going to have this it's going to be the Alfa Romeo MoneyGram Haas F1. It's this huge amalgamation like Red Bull has and Aston Martin does. When so next year, the what we know as Alfa Romeo is going to be revert back to the Sauber name as far as I can tell. Someone's talking about bad names. The one thing that is a bad name is going to be what AlphaTauri might turn into. It might be like Boss Hugo something something F1 Alpha. Yeah, Boss Hugo Bull F1. Yeah, something horrible. Boss Hugo is another brand, fashion brand. So that's, yeah, I don't even know who they are. So yeah, that you can look up. Hugo Boss Bull. Horrible name. But they're coming with money, so I guess that the thing is AlphaTauri is Red Bull's fashion brand. That's why they're named that way. Hugo Boss, no Bull F1. But that works for me too. We're about 15 minutes left in the session. Again, this is Crash talking to you. This is the Racing Tickets YouTube channel, except no alternatives. We've got Ferrari, Norris, Perez, Pasky, Verstappen in the top 5. Leclerc rounds up the top 6 with Albon, Alonso, and Russell. We have had one red flag this session when Stroll went out on track, stopped in the grass, had a hissy fit, and did not get out of the car for the marshals. And they literally rolled him off the track while in the car. No, Red Bull owns 2 teams. Let me put this. There are definitely things that they cannot do with AlphaTauri, and it's very clear. There's things that AlphaTauri as a team has to make, and they can't just pull something over from the Red Bull team, the mothership. And that's part of why this year's car is not very good, is because they tried to do something much more different from the Red Bull car. What's going to happen is that basically what it's looking like. AlphaTauri is going to look more like like Haas, where Haas buys all their as many parts as they can from Ferrari. So it's going to be, in this case, Red Bull essentially selling their parts, this year's parts to AlphaTauri. Upright Fox was like IndyCar races at some oval and the super speedways are ridiculous. One slight mistake and you can hit a wall head on, and the guys behind you may end up dodging pieces or other cars and hit you again. That on the only place where that was a major issue, some of the road races, because they're so tight, can be an issue. So nobody's yelling about how Lewis is not moving out of the way, and it was actually Russell. Huh. Got the wrong driver. Yuki, you're so still funny. Yeah, I mean, there was actually a pile up. I want to say Chicago. There was a pile. There was an incident in Chicago, and there was a pile up. Graham Hill, who was at the back of the field, managed to back up his car and go through there was a runoff ramp area that he managed to go through and stay on the lead lap, and got out from behind that pack. It's too early to. I mean, he's doing well, but it's still too early to measure how he's doing, because I mean, this is really his second. This is his second race. In the first race, he's doing great, given how he was thrown into the fire, basically. For a rookie, he's done as best as he can. In the situation, he's done as best as he can. So ultimately, we'll see how he does. Tomorrow is really a bet. We'll see how he does in quali tomorrow, and how, I think Qatar is probably going to be there as well. So it's going to be, we'll see how he's doing. He is F1 capable. I mean, that's one of the things to be said about him. He's definitely got the capability of being an F1 driver. So that's not an issue. What needs to be what we need to watch out for is that what will Red Bull do? now that he's like shown that he's got capability of being a decent F1 driver. Yeah, I think the funniest point is would be Alonso watching the race while driving in the race, watching the race on the big screens around the track while driving in the race. Um, Lando breaking the trophy by accident is hilarious. Only for the fact that okay, so we have a yellow flag. What for? So, oh, oh, who? It's Checo. Oh man, Checo lost control of the car, went into gravel, bounced back. Is he gonna? He went forward into the gravel. Did he get beached? Did he just beach himself? Red flag. Checo's beached. Checo's beached himself. Checo's in the kitty litter. So we know that Checo lost control of the car, and I saw live him sliding sideways. There we go. He goes off track, and okay, so he goes around the curve off track. He goes off track and goes around, and he does a drift, and he misses a marshal and bounces off the back. That hits the wall backwards in the last corner. Yeah, Checo went too wide, went off track, went into the gravel, went around the curve in the gravel, and then spun around backwards as going around that curve, and then the momentum he went backwards, and then after he stopped, when he's still in the gravel. No, he's not in the gravel. He's there is he bounces off the back wall. He moves forward. Back wheels car give him some. They give him. He gets like a couple of meters back in the gravel, but then because he's in the gravel and not moving fast enough, he ends up digging into the gravel and beaching the car in the gravel. So things to look at. So this is a red flag. It is gonna be. We might go back to. So right now that happened at the 9-minute mark. We are at the 7-minute mark right now. It is a question of how fast they can get Checo off the out of the gravel, and they are racing to get the the crane into place. So if they can do this in the next 3 minutes, we will have 3 minutes left on in the session. And again, it's very iffy. We could very much see that. We could see that the session does not resume because we still have enough time. They would want to resume the session, mostly because so that they can do basically a practice start at the end of the session, which is normal. So they're now lifting the car. Car is being lifted, and poor Checo is just looking on as his car is being lifted and being moved. For those who are wondering, this is not adding to my counter because Stroll is my number one for this session. My counter was reset in free practice 1, so this is this is 2 red flags in one session for me today. Who crashed? Checo crashed and he lost control of his car. So we're at the 5-minute mark, and they're just getting it back. He's not off the track yet. Checo went off the track into the gravel, lost control in the gravel as he was going around the curve. Okay, they've gone to green flag, so they're going to go with 4.5 minutes left to go. They're saying 17:56. Are they? They've gone green. Gone green already. Looks like they've gone green. What are they waiting for? Okay. No, they haven't gone green yet. They're still red. They're about to go green any second now. Williams, as usual, out front. And they've now gone green. So we're back. So with 4 minutes left to go, we have gone green flag again. So it took 5 minutes from incident to getting off track. So that, bravos to the marshals. Timing data was a little faster than expected. Like officially, it went green at the 4-minute mark. So, but bravo to the marshals for getting out there as fast as they did and getting Checo's car out of the way. So one of the things to look at that will be interesting is what is the condition of Checo's floor after going through the gravel the way he did? Max going wide. Going wider than he should be. I don't know what you're talking about, Radar, but Lewis has signed a new contract for 2 more years with Mercedes. So the whole thing with Lewis going Ferrari was the Italian press had nothing to talk about, so they made that up. To be quite honest, Ferrari did not contact Lewis, and even when they were supposed to contact Lewis was like 90% of the way with his contract. Yeah, no. Lewis has signed a new, as of yesterday. Sir Lewis Hamilton will be with Mercedes till 2025. And as well as Russell, his contract is now through to 2025. So except for Stroll and Perez, who brought red flags, we have everyone on track right now. And everyone except for Albon, Sargent, Hamilton, and Lawson are on soft tires. So they're scuffing up reds that could be used for the race, potentially. We've got 1:20 left on the clock. I know the stream is a little bit faster. Look, RS, Lewis is British and is a sports icon. Of course, he's going to get knighted. Lando missing the turn, going wide and using the runoff. Had a looked like a lockup before just a turn. Ten seconds left to go in the session, as far as my stream is at the moment. Albon top on the speed track with 348, Leclerc 347, Gasly 346. So 216, 215, 214 miles per hour, respectively. So flag has been the red checker flag. So we've got Albon crossing first. I don't see anyone. No one's improved on their times. So we're pretty much done. What we're seeing right now is just a procession. They're going to go around. Again, I think Max was on, except for this last session, these last few minutes, he was on mediums most of the time. So check those cars' damage. The two things, not majorly, the two things of concern is the back wing. He did hit the back wing on the wall, and it bounced. So we'll see if there was any there's potentially damage there. And the other potential source of damage is the underside of the car, the floor. We'll see if there's any. We'll hear about that tomorrow, whether those two parts had to be like absolutely replaced. Yellow flag. This is a test of the yellow flag of the safety system. So don't worry. Again, now that we have, it's a virtual safety car. This is a test of the system. Did you learn anything? No, not really. Max says, "Did you learn anything?" to his race engineer, and the engineer says, "No, not really." And Max says, "Well done." These two have been this way. They've been like if you've ever seen a very old couple talk sometimes, and they're very snippy at each other. My grandparents, for example, were very much like this. These two guys are an old couple who are snippy with each other because they can be. Oh. All right, this is gonna bring this session again. This has been Crash. Thank you for the over 1,300 of you who watched, the 291 who have liked the. We can get a couple more. We can get over 300. Come on, guys, we can do that. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so right now. Join the over 100,217 subscribers. And then if you want to join the channel, please do so. It helps us support keeping the lights on, keeping things. And then finally, there is a Discord channel, a chat. If you want to continue the discussion through later tonight, that's where you want to go. Yeah, if you join, like, don't be creepy. I had to throw. Someone joined and was in VC chat, and then I came in and said hello, and they scurried off. That was pretty creepy. So yeah, don't be creepy. But again, this is Crash. This has been Free Practice 2. We've had 2 red flags. My streak has started again. We'll see you tomorrow morning for Free Practice 3, and then Ryan will be here for qualification and for the race itself. You guys need to be careful about how you're referring to Lewis. You are on a very thin line, and putting what you put in quotes can. Yeah, you need. I'm just get remove that. Yeah, I'm just gonna remove that comment. That's probably over the line where you're going. Got to protect the channel, people, unfortunately. Okay, I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good day, stay safe, and we'll be back for free practice 3. And we'll see you tomorrow.